Hi there, it's still Winston Okasibo here on the app development course. And today we'll be looking at forms, buttons, and inputs. We'll be looking at forms, buttons, and inputs. So, what are forms basically, and why do we need them? What are buttons and what are inputs, right? So, in the past class, we'll be able to look at some interesting widgets like grid, view builder, card, and all of that stuff. But now, all those guys basically show content to the user. Now, when we talk about forms, the main aim of forms is taking inputs from the user, that's allowing the user to type. Let's say he wants to type something about his life. It's like his name or email or any detail like that. So that's why we need forms. And part of the form element is the form widgets include the inputs and the button. So basically the button is what we need to submit that form. And during the first part of this course, I also talked about Figma. Now, Figma, it's more like a tool used for designing how apps should look like before you actually start designing it. So I'm trying to get to Figma now. Let's see if I can open it up. So I'm trying to get a particular design so we can use it for this course. So yeah, if you go to Figma, I think you need to create an account first. Let me just put an email here. So you put your email. With your password, it loads, and that will give you access to an account, right? So yeah, so I'm just quickly going to continue the setup on my Gmail app. So an app will actually be sent to you that will allow you to like verify your account. So when you go there, you see verify emails, like an email that says verify email. So just click on it, then it loads, and yeah. So it asks for your password and your email again. That's the one you used. So I'll impute it, and yeah. So I verified my email there. Then I'll try logging in here again, and yeah, I'm good. So creating a Figma account is very easy, just like what I showed you. Now using Figma is going to give you access to a lot of designs. Now these designs, they'll actually help you to like design your app. So like what we've been doing, we've just been designing out of the box, like out of the videos. But if you use Figma, you can see designs that other people have done, right? And try to use their designs for your app. And like I told you earlier, ideally if you are building an app, you'll need a Figma, a UI design. But if you don't have a UI designer, then you just have to make do of what you have. That's on the Figma community. So I'm just setting up my Figma account. So you can answer these questions correctly, but I'm just taking the one. So when you're done, go with a free plan, except you have the money to pay for it. Yeah, design with Figma. So yeah, after that stages, come here. So people that actually do UI design, they'll really explain better what this guy does. But I'm not trying to create a design today. So where I'm really wanting to go to, where I really want to go to is this part that says explore community. Now explore community takes you to this part that it shows you different designs, right, for different. So what I'm looking for, let me quickly search e-commerce app. Now searching it will give you various designs, right? A whole lot of designs. So let's check out what this one looks like. Then you click open in Figma. So when it opens up, you will see the design itself. Shopee. So some of these designs in Figma, they're actually good while some are bad. Good and bad in the sense that, like this one here, alright, so in case you try opening any design, just check out for this thing I want to show you now. So I'm holding control and scrolling to zone. Right. Trying to move, right. Okay. So this particular one, I can actually select these individual items, right? So you can see how I'm selecting them. Right, I can actually select them. So not all designs will allow you to do this. Not all design allow you to select the items like this. So any design that allows you to select the item like this, that means the design is a good one. And why I like those kind of designs is that you can easily get whatever they use in designing it. Whereas some of the designs you see on Figma are just a picture, like a picture of the design. You can't really select the items. So yeah, so this is what this one looks like. Can go ahead and try doing all of this. I think in the few next classes to come, we'll look at some of those designs, but there's this simple one that I want us to work on today. So it's still going to be like we're trying to like design how a register form should look like. So it's this one. I like that, stylish. Yeah. So I open this in Figma. So yeah, so this opens up like this. Now you might feel like there's no design here, but if you check here, you can actually see some other pages. Let me see. Yeah, so on this file part, so we have the app design itself. So not all designs come with these options though. So yeah, so this is what I really want to see. So I'm consuming now, then yes, this is it. So we have this simple register and login form, right? It's very simple. So let's see how we can get something like this. And one other reason why you should pick a design that allows you to select the items is that if you're selecting the item, you can actually get the real details of these guys. For example, I'm saying that the font that was used there is actually Montserrat. So in the next video, actually shows how to start using the real fonts. Right, but if you can get into it with this one, no problem. So yeah, let's quickly style this page. Let's quickly style this page. So I'll go back to my code. It's time to code. And I'll create a new page. And I'm going to call this page login screen.dat. So it's still inside my library folder. So this is another way of creating it using Control N. So login screen.dat creates my stateless widget like so. And looking at this page, we'll notice that it doesn't have an app bar, so this is just a text. So there is no app bar here, right? So the app bar is when you have something like this now. This is like an app bar without a background column, right? So this one doesn't have an app bar. So that means we won't be needing this part. So the body is going to be a single child scroll view. The child is going to be a column. And now the column, the first widget that we want is a text that says welcome, and a text that says back. Very simple. I don't want to stress the code, so I'm just going to say text that says welcome back, and I'm going to style it. This will be call to my text style. I'm typing the wrong direction. So it's going to be equal to a text style, and the first thing I'm setting there is the font size. So also you can see the font size that they use there. Where is it? 36, and it's bold and it's Montserrat. So 36 bold Montserrat. So font size, I'll make it 36. Then font weight, I'll say font weight dot bold. Right, so I won't set the font family because Montserrat's font you need a package to start using extra fonts. So I save this and see what it looks on my browser. So I'll drag this guy out so I can just differentiate it from the other part of the browser. Yeah, so then I'll go to my main.das and set my main screen to the login screen. Save it. So basically we'll see that text will come back. Now in some cases, if the screen is small, the back can actually go to the next line. If it's not small enough, can still maintain the same line, but I'm not going to stress myself about it, no matter where it shows. So while it loads, I'll just put yeah, that's another disadvantage when using Chrome emulator. So it won't really give you the exact design as what the UI is showing you, because this is not really a phone, right? So that's one setback we might have. But regardless, I'm just going to wrap this whole column with a padding, and heading set all, I'll give it 16. Then now moving to the next one. So this is where we now have the form or the input. So this is called the text form field. That's the name of this widget. It's called a text form field. So let's go ahead and see how we can add a text form field. So I'll set a size box. I'll set the height like 13. Then the text form field. So now by default, text form field will show, but it's going to be an underline. So we actually have to. Let me just drop it to him. So the text form field is going to show as an underline, right? So we have to actually style it for it to look like what we want. So one of the style that we're going to give to it is called the border. So it's not really the border, it's the decoration. Yeah, so set the decoration to be input decoration, right? So input decoration is just like when we say decoration for what's it called now, for the container should be box decoration. Now inside the input decoration we then have different properties, and the border was set to be an outline input border. So the outline input border is basically the kind of border that gives it that curve shape. Right, remember we have two fields here. We have the first one here and the second one here. So see the difference. So yeah, so this is the first one. This is an outline input border, then this is underline input border, which is the default. So let me just give you a size box here. So yeah, we have that. Then it also has some border radius, then this guy. So let me attack this guy next. So you will notice that this guy is inside this input field, then we have username or email here. So how do we achieve that? It's very simple. So the decoration also has this property called leading. Sorry, it has prefix icon. So that part is called, this one is called the prefix icon, and this one is called the suffix icon. That's the name of the property. So if you want to put an icon at the beginning, you use the property prefix icon. If you want to put an icon at the end like this, you use suffix icon. So prefix icon is an icon. Then we call icons.person. And then the suffix icon is also an icon. I'll call the icons dot. This one doesn't have the suffix icon. It's the next one that has. So this gives us the prefix icon. That's the user icon. Then if you notice, there's also this part that says username or email, right? So that part, you can either use the hint text or the label. Now, the label, you can see it accepts either a widget or a text. So we have label and label text. So if you use label, the type it will accept is a widget. So if you want to write something, then you need to use a text widget first before you write. Meanwhile, the label text accepts a string. So I'm going to use the label text and I'm going to say username or email, right? So now this gives us a bit of label inside of it. So when I start typing, you see the prefix icon here. So I'm not typing, it goes back to what it is, right? So, and another thing I can do to this guy, the border radius. The border radius. Border radius is always hard sometimes to come by. And let me see if I can get the border radius. So I set border radius dot circular as 15. So border radius dot circular 15 means it's going to have curved edges like this. Right? So if I want it to just be not this curved, can just make it 10. I think 10 works. Right, so that settles it. So I can do the same thing for the next input. That's for the password. So I'll just copy this and replace him here. So basically I have to, then this one I'm going to call it the password. Now aside the label text that it has, right, it also has the prefix and suffix icon. So the prefix icon, I'll change it to icons.lock. And the suffix icon, remember these properties can be anywhere as long as it exists. So it's icons.visibility. You might ask, how do I know the names of these icons? Well, over time you know the names, but it's not always easy to get these names. So there's actually a website that you can go and you see the names of all these icons. So if you go to material, just search for material icons on your browser. So the one from Google, material symbols and icons, right? So you see the different icons here and their names. So all these are different icons and the names of it. So if, for example, if I want to use, which one would I want to use now? Let me say I want to use this one that's called download. So all I have to do is just to change the name. So it's icons.download. So that will give us that download icon, right? So it's really simple. Then moving on to the next part of this design. So we have this text that says forgot password at the right hand side. Now, how do I achieve that? Let me just do this. I'm not trying to make this design look exactly, but I'll just try to do some other things. So I'll add a size box here, make it a height of 5. Now the text says forgot password, but the most important part of this text is at the right hand side. It's not really easy to put the text at the right hand side. So what I normally do, I use a row, right? So I use a row, then I add the text inside as a child that says forgot password, right? Now when I set it this way, since this is a row, I can change the main axis alignment. Now remember, the main axis alignment for the row is horizontal. The main axis alignment for the row is horizontal. So I can then change the main axis alignment to main axis alignment.end. So by doing that, that text automatically goes to the right hand side. So I can then style it again and say, okay, my style should be my text style, and the color should be colors.red. Now this color may not exactly be the same because red and the color we have there is different. So this will lead us to another question. So what if we want to use hex colors, right? So let's say you don't know the exact name of the color, but you just know the hex code. For example, this color here, we can easily see the hex code. This is the hex code. So that's the color in number formats. So if you want to represent the color in the number format, so what you do, you say color, right? Then if it's hex code, you start with 0xFF, then you paste the hex code. So you say color, then say 0xFF, then you paste the hex code there. So once you do that, that is the hex code of the color, and it should be properly represented. So after the row, I'm going to put a sized box. So let me add a height of like 30, because this time around I want to put this button that says login. So I'm going to use an elevated button. I'm trying to generate the suggestion for it. I don't like this suggestion FEL. So yeah, the button says login. Right, so by default it has this styling that I don't really like. So let me go back to the main.stats. Let me say something. So I'll go to the main.stats. There's something I should have set at the beginning. Also in the next class I'll talk more about it. So on this theme data, right, I'm going to set this property that says use material 3. I'll set it to false. So basically this is the main.stats that's under the my app class. Open this print tab. So yeah, so this use material 3 to false. It makes the design look a bit different. Right, so that's what the material 3 does. So you can further inspect it, like Google around and see what it looks like. Let me just restart this app. So I'm running my app again because somehow crashed. So run and debug. I'll start my debug. F5. I can use display command to run and debug. Okay, starting the debug session. So yeah, so while it's going on, let's just do some explanation of how you can design this. All right, so basically this page, right, because from the next class we'll start looking at designing this guy. So this guy is just an image, and if you have an image like this on Figma, for you to export it, once you click on the image, scroll down, you see this part that says export, and you click on it. So you can preview what you want to export and be sure it's what you really want. And click on export, then you easily export that image. Then inside of this form, yes, you can use a circle avatar, or you can use a container that has this background color and a border like this, with this background color and a border radius of like 100 or 200. What that design is here. So having a page like this, so this is really a mix-up of rows and columns. So we have a row, and we have this item and this item. So basically 2 items. But in this second item, it's just a column. Oops, I dragged it out. So this second part is just a column. So these are some of the screens that we'll actually be designing in our next class. So which other one again? Yeah, this is an example of a card. So we have a card like this, right? So we have an image, we have a text, then we have another text, and so the main thing here is we are just mixing up with what's it called now, rows and columns to get what we actually want. Let me switch to final design here again. These ones can be represented by images. This is a card that has a row, so we have a picture. We can use a list style here. So remember I talked about list style. So this can be the picture, you have the title and the text. So really just a combination of all this that we've been doing that can give us this design that we are looking to achieve. So yeah, so while it's still going, so styling our button is also another important thing that we need, right? Because by default our button may not look like what we want. So if we want to style it, the elevated button has a property called style. Now the style will be equal to a button style, elevated button dot style from elevated button. I need my suggestions. Dot style from. So elevated button dot style from will give us this option to select the various stylings we want for our buttons. So some of those styles include the background color. So here now we can then set our background color to this particular color that we have here, right? So I can just copy it again and say color and paste it here. Now besides the background color, what we can also set is can see stuff like the elevation, that's how big it is, fixed size. Now the fixed size basically determines how big the button will be, that's in terms of the height and the width, right? So let's say we want to set the fixed size of this button. So I'll say fixed size. So the fixed size accepts a property of size, right? So you can easily see that when you put your mouse on it, you see the kind of properties accepting a size widget. So I'll say size, right? And now the size has two properties, which is the width and height. Okay, it's just trying to load up my app. But let me just add up this size. So you can see here that the two values here is the width and the height. So I can say the width should be like 300, the height should be like let me say 45. I think this is good for a button. So if you add these values, and you see how nice the buttons will look. Sorry, yeah, how your buttons will look like. So I think that's basically it. So in the next class, we're going to see how we can actually style these pages individually, right? So we're not going to be styling all the pages, but I'm going to look at some pages that we actually need, then how, and show us how we can actually style them. Now, aside styling them, we're also going to be looking at theming. So we'll see what theming actually is, then how we can also theme our app. Now, theming will make it easier for apps to, like the various widgets for apps to look alike. For example, the text form field. So we may not have to be styling all the text form fields. So once we style it once at a particular place, it will take effect all through the app. We also look at how we can do further styling on our text, that's setting the fonts and some other cool things. So catch you up in the next class, and bye for now.